big and big and big. Oh, that is a stud. We're not discreet because there's people right over our shoulders.
Hey folks, I'm Peter Melhorn. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Listen, I want to start by saying I'm basically a freshwater fisherman. When you look at my channel, the majority of my content is freshwater fishing. So when I go saltwater fishing, I'm no expert. But the cool part about that is when I figure something out, at least how to catch fish for a short period of time, take some confidence in knowing that if I can do it, you can do it. And one of the things that I've kind of figured out how to catch here during a certain time of the year in my area where I fish at Murrells Inlet in South Carolina is how to catch speckled trout. Still on there?
Yeah.
Boom, just take your time with it. I'm going to ease across you real quick, just get a net. There you go. Walking right over this way. Good job. Good trout. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Bang. That's a keeper. That is a keeper. Might be. Hold him up again. There we go.
Is this as big as the one you caught the other day?
It's about the same size, yeah. It's a good. He's a keeper. Grayson, you're on fire, buddy. I don't know if this one's legal or not. It looks a little small. Let's see. Yep, he's under. Lift him up. See if you can lift him in. Yeah. There you go. Just lift him over here. I'll grab him. He's an under. But it's a fish. Yeah, he's an
Just
under.
for the sake of it, check it.
I will. I'll show you real quick here. Right there. He's under. Still a pretty fish. They're pretty. Now, the one thing I've learned in my time down there saltwater fishing is that the tide is everything. And different times of the tide mean different things. Probably the all-around worst time to be fishing is when the tide turns. That's when basically the current stops. There's usually about an hour window where it's just a slack tide, nothing's going on. That's bad fishing. But for certain species, different tides play differently. And with the trout, I've had luck on both of them. Now, you guys that fish saltwater probably know that better than I do, which one's better, which one's worse. But it seems to be once that current kind of picks up, gets moving pretty decent, about, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half after the turn is when I seem to catch the most fish. See there?
Something pulled it.
No, I seen it. It looked like it disappeared. You got a fish or grass on it?
I don't know.
That's a fish. That's a trout. I seen his mouth come up.
He's not big.
Go that way a little bit. Not big, but it's gonna count. Walk this way. Walk this way. Walk, 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 walk. Boom. Yeah.
Is he legal?
No, I think he's gonna be an under. Son, you're killing him. You're killing him. Grayson has not only caught every fish, he's had every bite so far. Good little fish.
I was about to say, make sure.
Now, as it goes sometimes fishing, Grayson's side of the boat or his technique or something was producing all the fish. And I don't know how many he caught and how many bites he had until finally I hooked into one.
Here he is.
Boom, I finally get to catch a fish. It would not surprise me if Grayson's bobber does not go down.
I can hit him.
May actually get me a keeper too. That one should keep. Boom. Finally, Daddy's on
That's
the
a
board.
big one.
Daddy's on the board finally. Easy, simmer down, simmer down, simmer down. Simmer down.
It's got water on it. Or something.
Double checking. Got bite on him good there. Daddy finally got one. Grayson.
He looks like the one that I kept. Look at his fin.
Yeah. I think Grayson's caught 4 or 5. I've caught 1. I think he's gonna be under.
He's got another one.
I'm on a roll here. I'm finally getting the fish because I'm not taking Grayson's off the whole time.
Just in case.
I think he's under. Boom, quick release right there at the boat. He was under. All right, that is number 8 we brought to the boat. Not to mention how many we missed. So good fishing. If we can catch them, anybody can. All right, Grayson is hooked up again.
He's an undersized. I can see.
Yeah, he is under. That's all right. That's all right.
Maybe I'm the undersized catcher.
Another one. Another shorty.
I barely got him hooked.
I'm trying to pop him off of there. Boom. Quick release. Dude, you're killing it. You're killing it. Yeah, just for the record, we're floating live shrimp underneath the bobber, about, I don't know, anywhere 5 to 7 feet deep. Click those 2 off. We're up to 9 fish that we've caught. I don't know how many we've missed because of a sleepyhead over here, but no, this is good fishing. This is really good fun fishing. Take your time with it. Don't horse them. It's one thing I learned the other day. It's easy to pull the hooks on these things. Is he a eater?
He ain't showing up on the top, so that means something.
It's a good thing.
Oh, you might want the net for this one.
I got the net. We good.
Oh yeah, he ain't coming to the top.
Dang. Now in South Carolina, these fish have to be 14 inches to keep them, and I think it's a 10 fish limit. I don't really worry about that because we only keep about 2 or 3 per person because that's all we can effectively eat with our family, so there's no point in keeping more than we need. The rest of them we throw back. There were a lot of undersized fish on this trip, but we did manage to catch a few for the cooler. Boom, I got one too. Had a bite, had a bite, had a bite. Keeper? Is he a keeper? He kind of nailed it. Oh, that's a good fish. That's a good fish. Oh, net's hung, net's hung. Net's hung. Walk back, baby.
Oh my gosh, we're so lucky.
Did he pop off?
Yes.
That's a...
Good God. My heart stopped.
That one popped off right as I flipped it in the boat. I had one hit mine too. That looks like a keeper, buddy.
I'm still relieved that we got him in the net. Because I hit the net and it came off.
Nice one.
Oh, he's fighting good.
Might get into a drum here if you ain't careful. He's spinning. He looks like he's foul hook, maybe. I don't know. Bang in the net. Son, here he is, guys. Now, generally speaking, the fall and early winter is a better time to do this. At least that's when I've had the most luck catching fish down there. There's also black drum that are in this time of the year. Most of them are small, but there are a few big ones. There are a few legal size. I got a 14-inch minimum on those, and we try to keep one of those a piece if we get the opportunity to catch some that size. So while many people are done fishing for the year, they're done walking on the beach and laying out in the sun, the Grand Strand's a great place to do some fall and early winter fishing if you have the opportunity. Way back there. I'm going to nurse him in here. We got some current now moving.
I'll get the net.
How much of him's current? How much of him's a good fish?
I think he's a goodie.
I'm gonna bring him to this side of the boat.
Alright, let me switch hands.
I tell you what, I'll net him. I can net him.
I was gonna say, I know how to do it.
Oh yeah, it's just easier for you to film.
Okay.
Oh, that is a stud. That is a stud right there. I'll try not to scream because there's people right over our shoulders staring at us. That is a stud.
He's like, hey, you gotta put me back. I've been caught too many times.
That's a good fish right there. That's a good one. I'm happy with that one. Nice.
Yep.
Boom. Little trouts. We're still catching them. Still catching them. Now again, this technique is very simple. I didn't figure that out on my own. I had a friend of mine, Inglis Glover, who is a TV show host, and he's got a radio show. I got to fish with him a few years ago, and he really kind of schooled me through this very quickly on how to do this. And basically, it's a technique a lot of people down there use. It's no big secret. They're just floating these baits behind a boat. You basically drop it in right there at the boat, and you just let it float very slowly with the current. And you will kind of locate where the fish are. They will usually be in different places. Sometimes it may be 5-10 feet behind the boat. Sometimes that bobber may float almost out of sight. Now, one thing we do is what I started doing here a couple years ago was fishing it with my fingers a little more than watching the actual visual. I fish braided line, so the bites these subtle bites on these graphite rods, it really just telecasts through that line and through that rod. And I can feel it better now with my fingers than I can actually see it. And I've got Grayson to that point now, and he's become very effective with feeling those bites. I'm pulling like he's good. Grayson hooked up. We had one here that got by us a couple of times. Oh, that looks like a good one, son. That looks like a good fish. Come up, come up. Come. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big one. That is a stud right there, pal. That is a stud.
Holy crap, that's huge.
That's a good one right there. That's a good one. Nice job, buddy.
I told you.
He's right there in that
I
little
set
place.
it still for a second and went under, and you just...
That's a good one. We were wondering, bite kind of slowed down a little bit, tide's falling. But that one right there, definitely a keeper. And probably the biggest one of the day. There we go. It's a good fish. Nice. Good one.
I was going to sit down. I was trying to make sure there was nothing on my butt.
I buried that bobber. Don't know if he's going to make it or not. We'll see. Nah, he's kind of, I don't know, we've caught such big ones here lately. Pretty abundant, to say the least.
People behind us, throw it in.
Nice fish. All right, got another one. I think it's a small one. Little one.
Is that the one I just caught? No, this one's
We're
smaller.
having fun with them. Having fun nonetheless.
He's about to go.
Pretty
floating.
fish. The future. There it is, guys. That is, boom, Winnie. Now, the cool thing about fishing down there in the fall and early winter is you really don't know what you're going to catch. The trout are in, the redfish are in, and also the black drum. There's a good variety of stuff down there. It really depends on the tide, which end of it you're at, how fast it's flowing, on which you are more likely to catch. That's 20 we put in the boat. I don't know how many we've had. Grayson's getting ready to catch one. Did you get it? Did you get him?
Yep.
I don't know. I was getting ready to say, I don't know how many we've missed.
I'm sitting down now. I just hooked this sucker.
But the bite is not stopping. We've been at it for almost 2.5 hours. We got here right around noon. Oh, that's a drum. That's a little drum. Nice. Nice. Another species we got here. Get him in some light. Nice little drum. Very good. Go ahead and unhook him.
Okay.
Put him back.
You got it? I mean, I can get it.
You got it? Yeah.
Is he a keeper?
No.
Okay. Crap.
I think they got to be 14 inches also. Which is a pretty big drum. I'd love to get in some that big because they're really good to eat.
There we go. Do they have teeth?
I don't think so.
I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, I don't think they got teeth though. Pitching back. As I was saying, we're catching a lot of fish. I don't know how many we've missed. Came up short. It's just excellent fishing. Trout or spot? Are we into the spots now?
That's not a trout. That's a drum.
Drum. Another drum. We're starting to catch them suckers now. That's cool.
You know what rednecks call them? Lake.
A little bigger. Pretty fish. Wish they were big enough to keep. I'd eat them.
So,
We are catching a little bit of everything.
for all the professionals out there, these get up to 70 pounds.
I think it's 60, 70 pounds is what the world record is. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Good God, that's like...
Yeah, it's unfathomable. If you just catch one that's 5 or 6 pounds, you'll be like, oh my goodness, you can't imagine one that big.
If you look up Dieter Melhorn on Google, you'll see a picture of me with my biggest catfish, 60 pounds. Imagine this.
Because they pull like a freight train for a little bitty fish.
Imagine this looking like a 60-pound blue.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That's just stupid.
Yeah. Flip him back.
Well, as it is with saltwater fishing, something we don't really deal with in the freshwater world, when you get out there on the right part of the tide and you're using the right technique and you found fish, you're king of the world. But then it ends, and it ends very quickly. And it's funny how when you get to that point in the tide, when things start to shift, it comes to an end very quickly. Well, folks, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and here are a couple of more videos that I think you're going to like.